Just releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV.
Geology, family life. Please note, this program is rated 18. Therefore, parental guidance is advised. A legal contract with rights, obligations. It is emotional, spiritual, a union of committed to. Marriageology, God's own originated institution. Marriageology, family life. Please note, this program is rated 18. Therefore, parental guidance is advised. A legal contract with rights, obligations. It is emotional, spiritual, a union of committed to. Marriageology, God's own originated institution. Marriageology, family life.
Opinion, we say the beauty of opinion is that everyone has one. And parents will agree with me that raising up children is not a day job and is not an easy task at all. No wonder scripture says that we should train up a child in the way he should go. When he's old, will not depart from it. On this episode, we want to talk about parenting. The reason why a lot of persons are, a lot of children out there are displaying opposite characters, we really want to know. Now on parenting, we want to know if it is the male or the female gender that is actually more difficult to raise. Welcome to your favorite program, Marriageology, and I am Akosile Nicholas Walter, your host. And quickly, right here in the studio, this live studio session, we have a married technocrat seated and readily available to tell us some important things on parenting. Good to have you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
And quickly, we also have Mrs. Louis Ada here. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
And I'm very sure we're ready to rock it right now on the live studio session. Parenting, we want to know, male or female, who is more difficult to raise. You can call us on our excuse me, you can call us on our lines and tell us what you feel, what you think about it. You can ask your questions, share your opinion as well. And quickly, before we go straight to the point, we want to observe this very shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
A legal contract with rights, obligations. It is emotional, spiritual, a union of committed to. Marriageology, God's own originated institution. Marriageology, family life. Please note, this program is rated 18. Therefore, parental guidance is advised. A legal contract with rights, obligations. It is emotional, spiritual, a union of committed to. Marriageology, God's own originated institution. Marriageology, family life. Please note, this program is rated 18. Therefore, parental guidance is advised.
Welcome back, and in case you're just joining us, this is your favorite program, Marriageology. That program that actually comes to put a smile on the faces of millions of homes all around the world. Of course, this is a live studio session that wants to treat on parenting, male or female, who is more difficult to actually raise. We're going to know about all of that today. And in case you're watching right now, you have that opportunity to call us to ask your questions. You have the opportunity to call and drop your contributions. Send us your messages. We're going to read it right here. And quickly, Mrs. Louis, you're here, you're ready for us today, right?
Thank you.
And right now, I quickly, before we dig deeper, I want to know, in your own opinion, how do you define, what can you say about parenting? What is parenting all about?
Parenting is the activity of, bringing up children, making sure they are protected and are provided for till they become healthy adults. And, when we talk about the agents of socialization, we have the family as the number one agent of socialization. And Aristotle said, give me the first 7 years of a child and you can get the man. So, and you will agree with me that from conception, the child comes out. Is the mother that is the first person, then the father, the family, the home, the parents are the first people that raise up the child. So the act of parenting is they are the ones that mold the child to who is going to really be in life. Other agents of socialization, they are just secondary. The home is the main one.
Wow. Yes. Wow, Doctor, did you get that?
Oh, very excellent.
Now,
That's
Doctor,
a good one.
I know you have your own opinion on what parenting
is. Just building up on what she had rightly said. Scripturally speaking, the best way to define parenting is from the book of Proverbs 22 verse 6. Train up. Parenting is the art of training, raising up children. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. One translation says, even when he is old, he will not depart from it. It's like indoctrinating a child. Yes, training him, showing him the pathway to go, impacting a child, leading him, instructing him, and guiding him. Psalm 127 verse 3 says, children are a heritage from the Lord. So because of that, you train them as if it is your responsibility as a steward. You are just doing what God has placed on your heart to do. You are doing God's assignment. It is your duty as a child to care for the children socially, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually. A whole lot of work to be done. That is why it is called parenting. Parenting is a responsibility, responding to ability. And I love the way my father in the Lord puts it, the restoration apostle, Professor Johnson Suleiman. I was listening to him one day like that with rapt attention, and he talked about having a time out with the children. Time out with the children. Even in his busy schedules, very busy doing so many things, he has time for the children. So I think that is what parenting is all about. That parents should not just be so busy being carried away by maybe spiritual responsibilities, other spiritual responsibilities, I may call it, and maybe other social responsibilities, and maybe their careers, their jobs, and so many other things, to the extent that they will not have time for their own children. Yoruba adage has said it that a child that is not being trained will destroy the house that is being built.
Of course.
So if you don't train your children, they will destroy you tomorrow. And the English says, do not blame them until you have trained them. Don't blame them if you don't train them. So the act of showing them the way that it should go. The word of God says he makes his ways known unto Moses and his act for the children of Israel. You as the father, you know the way. The children are to be shown the way so that they will not act differently. It is the principle of training that will not allow the children to go astray tomorrow. They will become your pride in future because you train them when they are still very tender in your hand. And it is easier to train them when they are still very young than to wait until they have grown up.
Wow, did I just hear you say that? Now, Mrs. Lewis, do you agree to that?
Yes.
Parenting children, is that task quite easy? Because he mentioned something that is easier to actually train them when they are very tender than when they are grown. Now, is the act of parenting now of children, parenting children, is it easy?
The act of parenting children is not something. Children are not like fire that you just keep and go away. You know, they something that is a lifetime. He said there are children that are committed to your care, because when we talk about parenting, it's both physical and spiritual. And then, like the dean said, Proverbs 22 verse 6, he said, train up a child the way he should go. When he grows, he will not depart from it. Like he said, if you take a fish, maybe a fish that is not yet dry, when you want to bend it, you can easily bend it. But when it's dry, you cannot bend it. That is what happens to children too. And then the word of God said in Genesis 18:19, God said, will I hide this thing from Abraham, knowing that he's able to command his household to follow me. So parenting involves commanding. You are to command the children. You are to command these children we are talking about. You are to command them.
Does it require force?
No, commanding, like our mother in the Lord. I saw something. It was last Sunday night. It happened before. She came for Wonders Without Number. Then the children too, they were in the church. From there, she entered the church. Do you know what it means for a woman to be ready before 5 o'clock with all the dressing arranged? It did not start that morning. She started that preparation days before. So that is commanding the house. Wow. Many people, they think that when you say spare the rod and spoil the child, it means that you must use rod. No, you have different way of correcting. You mustn't use force. But there's a way to still command. Papa say you put your foot down. Yeah. It also involves copying. The children see you, Papa told us, they see him praying. I'm talking about raising a child, what it involves. It involves copying. Because when you are, Papa said, the children grew up, they see him praying. So you don't need to tell them pray. Yeah. They see that he's praying. The word of God said in 2 Timothy 1 verse 5, Paul was telling Timothy, he said that spirit that was in your grandmother Lois and also is in your mother Eunice, he said you continue in it. And you know, Samuel, his children came, the Israelites came. That was what made them to ask for king. In 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 8, they said, your children, they are not like you. They are not like you. So we want a king like other countries, the other nations have.
Now, so, that brings me to the question now, Doctor. Okay. The male or female gender, who is more difficult to raise?
Proverbs 29.
Have both genders. Right?
Yes, so, by the grace of God, I'm blessed by the two genders. Proverbs 29:17, very specific. You know, discipline your son, and he will give you rest.
Son.
Discipline your son, and he will give you rest. Proverbs 29:17. He didn't make any mistake by saying discipline your daughter. He said discipline your son. And some of the times you will need to put your feet down, like my dear partner has already said. You need to show them what to do. You know, spare the rod and you will spoil the child. So some of the time, boys, being a male gender, sometimes it's not easy to tell them what to do. You know, I've had my father in the Lord speaking sometimes. Men generally have ego, and I don't think men start having ego when they become men. They start having ego even when they are boys, as it were, when they are still yet tender. There is that thing about, you know, male children to make them feel like, you know, I'm a man, I am a leader, I should be responsible, I know what I am doing. Hey, don't talk to me like that. There is that thing. I don't know whether I should call it an inbuilt ego on the inside of their being, which you know, make them feel like being in dominion, being in charge. And female most of the time tends to have that attribute of being submissive. You know, they just want to be who they are supposed to be. You know, by nature they are calm. It's easier to say, hey, you sit down there. The female child will want to sit down more than the male child. So the discipline must be there. Sometimes, you know, I heard the story of John. When you hear John must be female. I'm sorry, John must be male. Is that not so? Yes. The father said, John, sit down. John said, no, I am not sitting down. John, sit down. John said, I am not sitting down. The mother or the father had to force him, sit down. You know what John responded? He said, though I am sitting down on the outside, but I am standing up on the inside. What do you do to John? What do you do to John? That's John for you. That's John for you. It's easier to control them right from when they are, children like that, when they are yet tender, than when they start, than when they have started growing. But by the time they start growing, it could be a little bit more difficult to control the female children than the male, because you feel like the female, they are like eggs. They are like very, I don't know how to put it now, they are like weaker vessels, as the case may be. You don't want them to mingle or tangle too much, because you feel that any little thing could affect them. They are females. They are yet tender. They could be easily misled. Some of them could be naive like that. They could be easily led astray. So you don't want to joke with raising female. I spend more time raising my female child than raising my male child. I spend more time. Should the two of them go out, I want the female to be quicker, to return home quicker than the male. Hey, sit down here. Don't go. Meet your mother. Your mother is there in the kitchen. Be there. Maybe the boy has just gone to play football and he's coming sweating and all of that. I am not so much bothered that he did not come home on time. Much more than, if the female doesn't come home on time, I am bothered.
Okay,
so it is easier.
You mentioned something that at some point,
yes.
I'm bringing that question to you, Mrs. Lois. You said discipline your
son. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It takes a stubborn person.
Yes.
To be disciplined.
Yes.
Right? Now you now switched along the line.
Yeah.
At some point, the female becomes more difficult.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, Mrs. Lewis, do you agree with that term?
Yes, because at the initial time, the boys are very active. Their action. Girls are emotional. They tend to look at the people.
That's the word.
But the boys, they are risk takers. If you say don't do this thing, they want to do and see what will happen. Let me do it and see what will happen. But the girl will be afraid that daddy said we shouldn't do this thing, So that is where it comes, because as they keep growing and you put your foot down, the boy will come to know that if I do this thing, dad is going to react like this. So it will now, as they keep growing, the boys' harshness, or let me say risk taking, will keep reducing. But the lady, when they are getting to the preteen, the lady's self-esteem have to be built. Because she's very emotional. She looks at your face. You need to give her more time. Ladies are more verbal. They talk more. Men don't talk much. So let's assume that is where the parenting comes in now. Let's assume that the parents are people that don't really have time. You don't look at her face. A girl will even expect you to look at her face and know that she's not happy. But the boy will just say, Daddy, I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
Yes.
So as time goes on, they are growing. The ladies are more, you now have to give more attention to the ladies. Like the Dave just said, you have to watch.
Because they are volatile.
Look at Diana. That is Jacob's oldest daughter. Look at what she did not go out. She went to join the daughters. And look at what it caused the entire family. But look at the brothers, the whole mistakes that they made, how it affected the family. Look at her own is more. Just because she got herself involved with the daughters of the land. So I think both gender, I will not really say boys or girls, which is more difficult. But for parenting, you need to study them. They are wired differently. The boys are wired differently. The girls are wired different. I think there is a research that said at 4 months when the woman is pregnant, there is a hormone that is released in the female brain that is not released in the male brain. That makes a woman, if you ask a woman what happened in the wedding, he will give you every detail. A man will just tell you it was fine.
Well, we'll have a caller right now from River State. Matthew, thanks for calling. How are you doing? Please, do you have a question or a contribution on this topic?
All right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right. I quickly want to contribute to the topic of toxic.
Please go ahead.
All right. it takes different measures to bring up both the female gender and the male gender. There is no specific, hand to raise any of or either of these two genders. And let me use myself as an example. My mom gave birth to 5 of us. We are 4 boys and 1 female. And it happened that the female is the firstborn of the house. So she, grew up when we were small, grew up and left the house. We're just 4 there. And my mom was able to raise us without any issue. She was able to control us. She was able to, there was no issue. It takes the same measure to raise either of these, two genders without, for example, I could remember very well, my mom would discipline us and she would still go back at midnight. She goes to her, prayer room. She would pray, mentioning our names and all that. It also contributes a lot when you handle your children physically and also in the place of prayer. It also contributes in raising them up, not just, flogging them, disciplining them and all that. You do the physical, you also do the spiritual. I can boldly tell you today, 4 of us, we are boys. We are all good. Like the other one, we have a pastor among us, and we are all Christian believers. That was how my mom raised us all without any issue. There was we did not keep, in fact, our home happened to be, a house where people, other parents make reference to. Look at these people, look at their lifestyle, and other people copied us. Alright, so let me just put it as a summary. It takes, the same measure to raise either of these genders if you apply the method well. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much.
Doctor, I agree with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. God bless you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Keep watching.
So, Doctor, do you agree to that terms? He said it takes the same measure to bring them up. I want to know, is that correct? Do you concur to that?
Yes, I think by principle, he is very correct. By principle is the same measure when you talk by principle. But by application, that's what we are talking now. By application, the female child is more volatile. For example, while my son and my daughter were at the university, I give my son maybe like 20,000 naira per month as pocket money, while I give my daughter 30,000 naira. I spent more money on my daughter than my son. Why am I doing that? I want her to be more disciplined than my son, because she is exposed more than my son. That's what I'm trying to say. She is fragile. I don't know. I'm trying to look for word to express it. She's emotional rather. She could be mistakenly led astray. Much more. Yes, he's open to attack. You can never, when you say, be careful of the friends you move with, be careful of the friends you move with.
Please, another caller from Abia State, Ebenezer. Thanks for calling. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Good afternoon.
You're welcome. Do you have a question or a contribution?
Is a question.
Go ahead, please.
All right. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Woman of God, I greet you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I really thank God for the wonderful work you people are doing.
Thank you.
Bless you, sir.
But sir, I'm having an issue with my daughter.
Good.
She tends to be very authoritative.
Okay.
When she wants to demand something, she doesn't do it as though she's I don't know.
She's pleading for it. She talks authoritatively. Yeah.
For my understanding, for my life.
Yeah.
And I have taken my time because I've listened to you both, bringing up the children and the men. I didn't bring them up that way. So I want to really find out what could make her to start bold. I can't really place it.
Thank you very much.
That the boy child. The next attempt to walk to her and say, she's younger, but she tends to be more bold. So I don't know. How do you?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Because even complaints are coming from the church and from her friends. So I don't know.
Can I quickly answer you? Now, many things could be involved, but primarily, the word of God says in Proverbs 13 verse 20, association. So it depends. Please lower down your telly. Could you lower down the volume of your telly? Yes. Bring down the volume. Thank you very much. Okay. He that walketh with the wise shall be wise also. A companion of fools shall be destroyed. You need to watch her association. That was what I was going to emphasize on, which I had not yet finished talking before your call came in. Now, female children are more volatile. They are prone to attacks. They are emotionally, they could be easily misled. That's why, like I said, I was giving my daughter more attention and more money than I was giving my son. Because my son, I just there's a way he could do it as a son and manage himself and maybe be hungry and maybe manage whatever money he had with him. But my daughter, I wouldn't want my daughter to be collecting money from any boy there, anybody there begging for money, or being led astray by peer partners. So you have to watch the kind of people your daughter moved with, not even when she had already grown up. You see, these are traces that emanates from the childhood level. Start watching over her while she was still tender.